I made probably $1 million off of having people call my leads for me and sending them in to me as follow-up and me setting the appointment and going on it. Then and that's been in 3 years. Like I'm sure you could use an extra $1 million. I know I like to make an extra $1 million.
All right, folks, welcome. We got a good one here for you guys, right? A practitioner, a guy that loves pounding the phones, and as an individual agent, once cranked out 180 plus transactions, now runs a team out of Prescott, Arizona. James Michener is going to be talking today about pounding that phone, prospecting, handling the shifting market. We're even going to get into some online lead follow up
Yeah.
and conversion, because I think it's all about pounding the phone, whether it's from cold leads or inbound internet leads. That once you qualify them, it's all about the phone and the phone follow up anyway. So happy to have James in here. James, so welcome to the group. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How'd you get into real estate, and what about those crazy numbers that you've been able to produce as a solo agent? And then, but now you're running a team. So tell us about that journey, man.
Yeah, so my journey starts back when I was 14 years old. I moved in with my guardian family, and the my guardian father was a real estate broker, and I saw how they were living, the life they lived, and it seemed like he was just having so much fun doing it, right? Obviously, gets stressful at times, but I wrote a paper when I just about to leave high school, and I said I wanted to be a real estate agent. And then years later, like I don't know, 4 or 5 years later, they pulled it out of safe. They're like, "Did you remember you wanted to be a real estate agent?" I'm like, "No, I totally spaced that. That's crazy." So I read it, and I was talking to him one day, and I said, "What should I do for work?" He's like, "You should get into sales because there's no ceiling for sales, right? Like, and you can make as much money as you want. Kind of set your schedule if you want, and get a business going for yourself." So I was recruiting for the College of Nursing at Grand Canyon University. I was also getting my master's degree and then my real estate license at the same time, and having fun, right? I was a young guy, so I was just having some fun out there. And I decided to drop out of my master's program and get my real estate license because everybody that had their master's that was going to Grand Canyon University were still working the same job I had. And so,
not
yeah.
much mobility with the masters. I get it.
No, no. So I decided to get my real estate license. I got that, started taking some courses at the brokerage I was at, which was Next Stage, which then switched to Better Homes and Gardens, and then switched Bloomtree to Better Homes and Gardens, and now I'm at Realty One. But I ended up taking a year off, and I went and taught English in Taiwan. That helped me out a
Dang.
lot. Backpacked through Thailand, worked on a farm in Montana, and then I just jumped into it. And when I was at Grand Canyon University, I was doing all cold calling, right? So I was taking this list and I was hand dialing it, and it was terrible. And so when I got into real estate, my real estate coach that was there for the brokerage said, "Hey, you need to sit your butt down and dial for 2 to 4 hours a day." And I'm like, "I'm not doing that. No way." And so my brokerage is like, "Well, hold some open houses, reach out to your sphere of influence, go to volunteer events and stuff." So I did that. I got zero leads off of that. And I saw him 3 months later and he's like, "Hey, how's your business going?" I'm like, I'm not getting anything." He's like, "You need to make calls." So I pulled up for sale by owners first and I started calling those. And that was the lead source I worked for about a year and a half. Um, from from July 31st to the end of the year, I closed 26 deals after that, right? And made
Wow.
some good money.
Just FSBO. Just FSBO.
Just FSBOs, just FSBOs.
Wow.
Now there
There you
was some
go.
sphere of influence that was sprinkled in there, right? But it was mostly
But
for sale.
mostly FSBO. Mostly
Yeah.
FSBO. Holy cow.
And so then I saw another guy in our market that was just killing it, right? And I'm like, "What is he doing?" Well, he's calling canceled expireds as well. So then I started sprinkling that into my thing, and I got a partnership, which I would never recommend anybody get a partner. I think you get the transaction coordinator and assistant first, and that's how you go about it. And we ended up both making 180 or 200,000 each. The next year we made $300,000 each, and then we ended up splitting. And then that year that we split, I made 600 grand. Then I made 750, then I made 875, and then I've made $1 million a year ever since that for the past 5 or 6 years, right? And when I noticed a couple things was my prospecting led to great investment deals. So I have 29 rental properties now, which has been
Love it.
great. Do the letters. I do private money as well. So I lend money because I was making so much money. I didn't need all of that, right? So I just saved it and started lending it out to people. And now I run a team of, we were at 6 agents, we're at 9 agents now. The most amount of deals we ever closed was about 375, which was in 2021. Um, and then we hit the market a little bit. Markets hit us, I should say. Now we're about 275-ish, but we've added wholesale into our company as well. And it just has made such a big difference hitting the phones. Because I took a break for the when I was by myself and I made that 600 grand. I didn't prospect from July until October. And I saw my pipeline going. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Dry up.
how are these other guys staying busy, right? Well, they were still sticking to a schedule and they were still making their follow-up calls and calling cancel expireds and for sale by owners. I was like, okay, I need to do that. That's why I went 750, then 875, and I just started sticking to a schedule. 745, 730, I was hitting the new cancel expires for sell by owners. Then I was hitting anybody that hadn't picked up to 15 calls. After that, I was putting them into my cold list. And then after that, I was getting my online leads, any of the new online leads that hit. And as I was doing better in business, these pay at close companies were calling me and they're like, hey, we want you to be an agent for us and close some of these deals. I'm like, yeah, I'll try it. A 25% referral fee, like all day long, right? Now it's somewhere between 25 to 35%. But that helped my business as well.
Yep.
And so I followed up with my canceled expireds, followed up with my for sale by owners, followed up with my online leads. And then I got to a point my second year in my business, I stopped working with buyers. So I did not work with any buyers at that point. Now, if it
Got
was a
it.
good friend or family member, I would work with them. But I maybe did like out of 100 deals, because I closed 100 deals a year myself from my third year or my fourth year to my ninth year, right? 100
Wow.
deals myself. And hardly any of those were buyers because I just farmed them out because it took so much time. But I was
Sure.
so heavy on my prospecting that my schedule would allow for me to not have to work with buyers because it was so full of listing appointments. And so my year of 2021, I won Realtor of the Year, closed 183 deals. Our team
Wow.
did 350 or something like that deals. And then I started introducing wholesale, and that was great. So wholesale, if anybody doesn't know, you take a property, you get it under contract, and then you put or assignee, and then you can assign it to an investor. So as soon as I learned that, I was like, yes, like yes. My first deal, I
Another way.
made 50 grand on that. It was to an investor that I'd been working with that I would give properties to that for investments. He would keep them as rentals, or he'd fix and flip them, or he would just keep them and not do anything to them, right? And I was like, dude, I don't like that. I'm not getting the deal back. Like, I don't like that. So I ended up wholesaling him the first deal. And he's like, hey, what happened to me just paying what you got it under contract for? I'm like, doesn't work like that anymore, man. Now we're assigning these to you. So
Nice, nice.
that was great. But for me, it came down to a schedule, right? Sticking to what I needed to do on the times I needed to do it, letting my family and friends know what I was doing so I wasn't getting bombarded with calls or people interrupting me. And then I eventually started getting into hiring virtual assistants. So they were helping me make those calls. Then I
Love
ended
it.
up hiring good cold callers that would make calls, prospects for me, that would put it into my calendar, and I'd follow up with those warm leads, which was great. And then they
Gotcha.
were taking over the task for my marketing. Like it just became a business in itself. It was not overnight, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, what
I
questions do you have? I know
Yeah,
that's
so I mean, a lot of it. And there's a lot of great stuff in there. I'm going to tackle it bit by bit. So
Mhm.
when agents are, when we're talking about for sell by owners, we're talking about expired and canceled. It's kind of a different scenario, right? We tend to group them together because it's all prospecting, and that's true. But it's a different conversation, guys. You're coming at it from a different angle. What's your angle when you're talking to a for sale by owner? Walk us through that process. It goes live. You pick it up either through Zillow or some other service. It goes live. They want to sell their home. You're hitting them the first day. You're hitting them every week. You're shooting for the appointment on that very first call. We have that. I have a buyer, Mr. Seller. Can I get my foot in the door? What's your approach with those FSBOs, James? Go
so
for it.
I never do I have a buyer, right? That's just not something I like to do.
Everybody
Bait and
hates that, by the
switch.
way.
Oh my
It's
God,
everybody
it's
hates that.
terrible.
The bait and
Yeah.
switch, right?
So the first thing I do is like if I was calling you, I'd say, hey, Gustavo, it's James Michener. How are you today?
Hey, doing good, man. What's up?
Hey, you right away. If I say your name now, if I go, hey, is this the owner of 123 Street? Or Hi, is Gustavo there? What's the first thing you think? Like it's a salesperson,
Yeah,
right? Like, of
100%.
course. So I always say my name and I say, hey, Gustavo. And then I say my name. And then they'll be like, oh, they get their attention a little bit more. And I say, I'm James Michener with Realty One Group. I was calling about your property that you have for sale by owner. Is that still available for sale?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Hey, how long have you had it on the on up for sale by owner, if you don't mind me asking?
Just put it on there yesterday.
Oh, nice, cool. What kind of traction have you gotten on it so far?
A couple calls here and there, mostly agents, but trying to just getting started, right?
Absolutely. What made you go for sale by owner rather than hiring an agent, if you don't mind me asking?
Just trying to save a few bucks, right? Trying to see what the market's like, maybe save a few dollars and get this property, off my hands.
Absolutely. And you are priced right, and the photos are good. Do you mind me asking where you came up with the price?
I looked online, checked a couple
Okay.
websites, and also, my neighbor, sold a few months ago. So, I got an idea. I follow the market as close as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if there's anything I can do to help with open house signs or something like that, let me know. I'm be more than happy. I work with a lot of for sale by owners. But let me ask you a quick question. I know you're looking to save a few bucks. Is there a net number that you're trying to make after commissions and closing costs?
Got an idea. I've got something in mind. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let me ask you this because I sold 45 for sale by owners last year that I was able to help, and it all
Wow.
came down to what their net number was, right? So if I can net you a certain number after commissions and closing costs, would you be open to me working with you?
Well, you know what? I want to give it a little bit of a shot myself, right? See what kind of traffic I can get the next, few weeks.
Absolutely. So my understand, okay, now I'm going to cut from the script and then I'll go back to it. My understanding is that for sale by owners are going to list within 45 days if they don't sell on their own, right? So I know that for sale by owners are they're fruit that just needs to ripen. So what I do is I'm going to try to get in the door with you, right? So, I completely get that you're going to be waiting a little bit, Gustavo. Just so you know, we work with a lot of buyers here in town, and I try to keep an idea of what all inventory is on the market. Would you mind if I stop by tomorrow or Thursday? I'll be available from 1 to 3 if that works for you. Just kind of take a look at it and give you my information.
Well, I'm not ready to list yet, James. I don't know. I mean, does
Okay.
that make sense?
No, absolutely. And this isn't a bait and switch. I'm not going to try to get you to list it with me. But again, if I had a buyer that's looking in that particular area, there's no way that I show a property that I haven't already seen, especially when it's for sale by owner, because a lot of my clients are a little weary. They think that houses that are for sale by owner aren't good enough to be on the market. So that's why the person's doing for sale by owner. But obviously, you just want to save some money. If I could stop by for 10, 15 minutes, take a look at it. Again, I'm going to be in that neighborhood. I'm not making a special trip, but I'll be able to stop over there for 15, 20 minutes. Would that work for you tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely,
Looking
man.
at it.
Sure.
Perfect. Okay. So I'll be there. Let me take a look at my schedule. I'll be there at 2:30 and I'll just stop by, say hi, take a look at it, and feel free to ask me any questions while I'm there. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
Perfect. Hey, thank you so much. So what you're doing is the first person that gets there is usually the person that's going to list the house because if you can get in there and it's not just a phone call and you have this screen, you have this phone protecting them, you can actually find out the actual details and they can see, oh, you're a human, I'm a human, maybe we can work together, right? So
Gotcha.
my idea was always to get on those preview appointments, right? I had a team member of mine that was really good. Said, James, just get me in the door. That's all I need to do is just get in the door, take a look at the property. I know I can win them over. Boom, boom, boom. We listed so many of those things
Love it.
and it cut that 45 days down to maybe 4 or 5, maybe a week. And I
Wow.
always called for sale by owners on Mondays to see how their weekend traffic was because they hated that they had to be home on the weekends, right? They hated that they had people that were just wanting to lease to own, rent to own, what owner carry, right? They wanted a real buyer. So they wasted a weekend. I call them on Thursday and Friday, say, hey, how was your week going for you? And they say, man, it was a little slow, this or that. And I say, oh, I completely understand. Would there be I know we met before. I love the house. I think it's great. Would there be an opportunity for me to get it on the market for you this weekend? That way you don't have to waste any more time. I can get it on within
Love it.
24 to 48 hours and we'll get this going. And remember, Gustavo, like we talked about when I met with you or like we talked about when we were on the phone, I can net you the number you want after commissions and closing costs if we get this on the market.
Love that. Love that. So
No,
that's a solid approach.
yeah, I mean, it's fair. It's they're seeing that I'm human. I'm seeing that they're human. And when you get in front of somebody, they tell you a lot more stuff than they will over
Over the
the
phone
phone,
or
right?
texting, right? Or texting back and
Oh,
forth. Yeah,
no, 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 no. I
no
don't do the
way.
text thing. No, that's a way to kill your deals there. So
Yeah.
if I get somebody that responds back to a text, I say, "Hey, when's a good time to call you? I'm going to be away from my phone for a little bit. And I want to make sure I talk to you. Could I call you in maybe 30 minutes? Okay, perfect. And ask some questions about the house. Okay, perfect. It's just like texting a girl or texting somebody. They just don't know what you're actually saying when you send a text because there's no tonality, there's no
Nope.
anything like that. They can't hear you smile over the phone, nothing like that. So no texting, you know?
Nope.
So
Text it.
yeah.
Like you said, texting and text enough to get on the phone. Like the
Yeah.
text has to lead to like a two-way conversation. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen over the text message.
And
Not with a
here's
FSBO. Not with a FSBO.
no, and here's the thing, man. With canceled expireds and for sale by owners and online leads that have already signed up, they already want to sell their house. It's not like you're doing neighborhood calling where you're trying to find a needle in a haystack type of thing. They've already raised their hands. They're already wanting to sell their house. Cancel expireds are willing to work with real estate agents, and so are the online leads. For sale by owners are your biggest resistant client that you're going to have, and once you win those over, they're super loyal. So
Love it.
they're just a great lead source. So I go with people that have raised their hands first because I know that I have a better shot of connecting with them and getting them to the list than I do neighborhood calling. Now, neighborhood calling is great. And what I tell everybody is pick a neighborhood, call through that neighborhood, make it your neighborhood. Don't do all the EDDM postcards at the beginning. Pick a neighborhood, draw a circle, hit enter, get all the phone numbers, get the addresses. You cold call through those and you start making friends, start making little pockets. People are like, yeah, I was actually looking to sell in 3 months. I don't have a real estate agent. If you could follow up with me, boom, they say 3 months. I'm following up with them every 3 weeks, right? And I'm sending them a thank you card. I'm sending them fairy tale brownies to their house. Like there's a lot of things that work. And I sold 38 houses in this neighborhood across from me. I made over $500,000 in 18 months, and I'm still reaping the benefits of that.
I gotcha.
So,
James, so you combine some of these high converting, hand raising lead sources like FSBO, like expired, with the neighborhood calling. So you do both. You don't go. It's not one. It's not either or for you.
no, there's not enough leads in there just to do cancel expires and for sale by owners. So you got to do that other stuff, you know? And then I ended up moving it to where I would have virtual assistants and just cold callers that I hired making the calls for me. They'd send me in
Love it.
warm leads and I would get that. I made probably $1 million off of having people call my leads for me and sending them in to me as follow up and me setting the appointment and going on it. Then out of, and that's been in 3 years. Like I'm sure you could use an extra $1 million. I know I like to make an extra $1 million. So those guys were great. One deal I made $225,000 on it, and it was just a quick call. Lady said yes, she's interested in selling. Joy sent it to me on my calendar. I called her, set the appointment, bought it, fixed it up, sold it. Bought it for
I love
225,
that.
sold it for 465. So yep.
Amaze balls. And you focus, you have the VAs doing the neighborhood calling only, or you'll have them hit up some of those expired and for sale by owner you don't have a chance to get to.
Yeah, I'll have them hit those as well. I do more of like the online leads and the neighborhood calling than the cancel expireds. I have my really good cold callers that are from the United States that moved to
Gotcha.
Nicaragua or Mexico, and they do the calling for me on those. And then I
Got it.
have other agents that within my brokerage that just can't cut it. And so I have them making the calls and just opening up the appointment. Like, yeah, I might be interested in selling actually, you know,
Any kind of motivation, they should hand it over to you. Like they're kind of
boom.
shaking that tree. They're shaking that
Yep.
tree, looking for anyone that doesn't hang up, homeowner that might be thinking of doing something, maybe, who knows?
Yeah, and I love those type of leads. It's been really good. You know what else has worked for me is just sending a basic letter. Hi, this is James Michener. I know that you own a duplex on XYZ Street. We have a lot of people that are looking to buy, including myself. For the duplexes, rents are going up, and so is the cap. So is the interest in your property. If you're looking to sell, please give me a call. I bought 3 properties by doing that myself. I've listed
Wow.
like 20, 25 properties doing that. I called 4 rent by owners and landed a gal that sold me a duplex for 265 on an owner carry at 4% for 15 years. It's almost paid off now.
Wow.
And it's worth $650,000 now. Like there's so much
Crazy.
that comes with prospecting and everybody that's watching this or listening to it, if you're not prospecting, I don't know what the hell you're doing because there's nothing else. Your phone's not ringing off the hook. I guarantee you. and you're not able to buy those nice cars unless you've been in business for a really long time and you're talking to your sphere of influence, then you're probably getting that, or you have a neighborhood that you're dialing, then maybe, but you're years and years in the business and you're still not maxing out your full capability of what you could be doing if you just picked up the phone and made a few phone calls a
I
day,
love it.
right? And I
I love
say
it.
10 to 15 contacts will make you 250,000 a year. Now,
Wow.
contacts are new people that you've talked to. Those are new people that you're adding to your database. That's like, yeah. The other thing that other agents don't look at is my Zillow profile, my realtor.com, my Google, my business page has to be fully filled out, and you have to be getting reviews from that as well.
Yeah.
And then
I love that.
there's client appreciation events, right? So I did a coaching call today and we did client appreciation events. We covered cards that you send to it, calls that you make to them, text message that you send to them, what's the social media that you're going to do, what's the location of the a client appreciation event because you want it single level, you want it easy to be accessible, you want it by other things. HOA, if you live in an HOA, have it at the HOA and put client appreciation event and neighborhood uh, and subdivision information event as well. So it's tied in. So you're getting other people outside of that, right? So that's huge
Love
for
that.
me.
Love that. I love
Um,
it. And let's drill into that. So, I mean, going back to the prospecting piece, we drilled into for sale by owner. You mentioned expired and canceled. Is the process any different with expired and canceled? Because they're usually not as combative. I mean, they've worked with a real estate agent in the past. They tried to get their home sold. XYZ happened and it went off the market. Is your approach any different with a expired or a canceled listing?
no, it's the same approach when it comes to that. There'll be a couple more objections, like what are you going to do differently to get this sold? I canceled with my person because I didn't like their communication. The expired is a little bit easier because they've given that person so much time that they're a little bit more lenient. They canceled an asshole, right? Usually, and they're like, I gave them 30 days and they only got two showings, so I did this, right? So you got to be much more direct with them. For sale by owners are a completely different approach, in my opinion, and you're not gonna sign the amount of times I've made thousands of calls for sell by owners, right? I maybe have like maybe 10 to 20 that I've landed on the first call, right? It takes a little bit of time for them. So
Got to
you
ripen
got,
that fruit, like you said, ripen.
yeah, you got to have some thick skin for that. So your follow-up calls are your most important. The fortunes in the follow-up, and that's the most honest God truth I can tell you. Like there's no
There's a small percentage that are going to go, okay, maybe move forward in the first, second attempt. Everyone else is on the
yeah,
subsequent call following up with that.
yeah, they get what's called listing fatigue, right? Listing fatigue is where they've been on the market, they're tired of cleaning their house, they're tired of dealing with all of it. They're like, oh man, but they still want to move, so they give it a little bit, especially during the holidays and wintertime. And then you're hitting them up during the winter, just following it up. And then come January, February, your phone's ringing off the hook with, hey, you called me for X amount of time. I'm ready to list. Like you're persistent. I want you to do it. And I would rather lose a listing because I followed up too much than not following up enough.
I
So
got you. I got you. 100%. Love that. And James, typical, you're calling some of these expired, canceled, maybe like a FSBO for several months. What's your follow up look like for those contacted leads? People you've had a conversation with, you've connected with. Like you said, if it's, is it every 3 weeks? Is it once a month? What's your typical follow? When you say follow up, what do you mean by that?
So if I have somebody that's for sale by owner, I'm calling them twice a week, Monday and Thursday.
Love
If
it.
I have a cancel and expired and they're 6 months out, I'm calling them every month. If I have a cancel and expired, they're 3 months out, I'm calling them every 2 to 3 weeks. If I
Love it.
have a cancel expired and they're ready to go in a month, I'm calling them twice a week, once a week at least. Yeah. And I'm trying to get over to their house as soon as possible, right?
Yeah.
Like, just let me see it. Maybe we can do what's called a coming soon listing. Maybe I have a buyer that might be interested in it and I can come take a look. And if we do have a buyer, since you're so motivated to go in the next month, I can have them lining up so that we have two or three buyers that might be interested at that point in time. Um, so I'm just trying to get in the door, even if they're 6 months out. I was trying to get in the door as soon as I could because people's lives change and what they tell you over the phone is to protect them, not to protect you. So they're giving you what they feel more comfortable with saying. And if they're really ready to go in 6 weeks, but they say 6 months, they want you off the phone. But if you can get in front of them, get to know them, get them to like you, you win that listing.
I got you. I got you. I love
So
it. And I've had this, this question, this theory, James. I want your take on it. because you handle both online leads coming to you, you go on prospect and you generate leads, you and your team. Is the follow-up, is the process any different when you're talking about when you've already qualified, you've already spoken to someone, either where they're coming from an online lead source or they're coming from prospecting a neighborhood, Facebook expired. What at that point, is there a big difference between that online lead? Is it a easier lead to convert? What's your experience on the online versus people you've actually spoken to on the prospecting side?
Yeah, here, this is the script that you use for a for sale by owner, cancel expired, an online lead that you've already talked to, right? So, ring, ring.
Oh,
Hey, good morning, Gustavo. It's James Michener. How are you today?
oh, hey, how's it going, James?
Good, good. Hey, I was just giving you a call. Just wanted to touch base, see if there's any other questions you had about the real estate market or any questions about your house I might be able to help out with. I know, just looking at my notes, you're maybe looking at selling in the next month or so. So just want to see if there's anything you needed.
We're not ready just yet. But I've been getting your content, your text. Definitely we're keeping you in mind. Just not ready to pull the trigger right now.
Okay, absolutely. Well, if there is anything that you need, let me know. And if you're looking for any handyman or some repairs, something, feel free to reach out. I got a lot of vendors that I work with that can help you out. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Perfect. Hey, real quick before I let you go, when's a good time to follow back up with you?
You know what? I think we should be ready to go right after the first of the year. Give me a call that time once we get the holidays
Okay.
out of the way, and I think that'd be much better.
Perfect. Do you think it'd be beneficial for me to stop by the house and just see what we could do to maybe get it ready for the first of the year and see if there is any touch-ups that you want to do or whatnot? I could
You
drop off
know,
CMA.
that'd be great, but I won't be able to do that this week. How about next week?
Yeah, that works perfect. I'm available Monday and Tuesday. I'll be in that area. And let me see, Monday from 1 to 3 and Tuesday, yeah, 2:30 to 5:30 if one of those any time in between there works for you.
Yeah, let's do the Monday.
Perfect. I will see you then, Gustavo, and I'll call you on Monday just to confirm. And you have a great week. And thank you for taking my call. Okay.
All right.
Perfect. Boom.
Just
That's
you're,
it.
you're,
That's
you're
for
checking
every
in,
single
you're
one of them.
dropping some value, you're trying to get in front of them.
Yeah. And they're
That's
human beings.
basically it.
I'm just trying to be like, if somebody was that helpful to me and that nice and whatnot, and, following up, I'm going to give them the chance for anybody else. And here's the thing. So I have a foundation that needed to be repaired on a new rental I just bought, right? It's a $40,000 project from one company. It's an $80,000 project from another one. I was willing to sign the documents on one of those guys, and he said, "Yeah, I'll follow up." His follow-up was pristine up until the day I had to give him my credit card or my check. Nothing. Didn't hear anything from him anymore. I ended up hiring the other guy because I was like, I'm gonna hire this dude. I want to get it going. I want to do it the right way. But that guy would have had my business, and I probably would have missed out on having it done the right way. If that guy would have followed up with me enough and I liked him, he made me like him, right?
Wow.
So here's the other thing. Let me give you one other case. So I had a guy come over and I have a roof that needs to be replaced on one of my other rentals, right? And the guy calls me. He's like, "Hey, it's Chris from Aware. Just wanted to give you a call. I know Alex had sent me your information. I'm actually down the street. I was just gonna see if I could drop off my card real quick." No, I'm okay, man. But thank you. I can give you a call back a little bit later. I have my daughter with me. Okay, no worries. I'll just drop it in at the mail. Is that okay? Yeah, that's okay. Wait, when are you gonna be here again? Oh, I can be there in 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, cool. Why don't you come over? I signed all the paperwork at that time, not him going, and everything worked out. So because he said I'm going to stop by, he was so nice. We ended up talking in the driveway, and he's like, "Oh, I have some of the paperwork with me. You want me to just show it to you real quick?" I'm like, "Fuck, he's doing what I do to people."
100%,
Like,
man. Got in
dude, the
front of you.
approach is so good, and it's just
Yeah.
reinforcing like how that works, right?
Yeah.
So he ended up coming in, getting the paperwork signed. That's what cancel expireds for sale by owners are like too. You get somebody that's just a little bit interested. You say, "Hey, I'll be in the area. I'll just drop off my card to you real quick at 2:30. Will you be home?" "No, I might not be. I'll probably be home around 5." Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those people, I'm going to plug them in, and I'm going to put it on my map quest, if you will, like a map quest, and say, "Hey, I'm going to go to this person, this person, this person, this person," and then I'll be home. And I just hit all of those. And I have gotten so many listings from that. I mean, I dropped my wife off one time at her coffee shop, right? And it was raining. I had shorts and flip-flops on. And I decided I was going to go drive this neighborhood because I'd been working it pretty hard. I saw a for sale by owner sign in there. I went in there with shorts and sandals, flip-flops, something like that. And I got him to sign the contract with me that day because I kept a blank, because
Wow.
I keep blank contracts on me with me, listing and purchase contracts. And it was just incredible. Like
It
anybody
just
can do
you
it.
showed up. You showed up, right? You made a
Yeah.
connection face to face. Like, why not,
Yeah.
right?
And if you come there prepared, you have a good listing presentation, which I think I have a pretty good one. It's worked really well for me. And you bring the right data and you present that data the right way and you stay friendly and you build rapport with these people. Oh, it's just money, man. It's just amazing what it can do for you. I mean, when I first started in real estate, I lived in a single wide mobile home that I stayed in for 4 nights a week while watching my friends' dogs, and I lived with my brother the other 3 or 4 days that week. And now I own 29 properties. Like it's just crazy. And it's just
Yeah.
because I stuck to a schedule and I worked hard. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You were there, you showed up, you did the work, kept your
Yeah.
word, right? Kind of did
Yep.
what you were said you were going to do, and it compiles, right? It adds on top of each other. And James, question for you, right? Who was your inspiration? Who were those mentors, coaches? Did you hire a coach? Did you kind of build this stuff up on your own? What if anything has anyone else helped, build the business you have right now?
So I watched YouTube a lot, right? Started with a guy on YouTube, watched some of his videos, started calling for sale by owners. I was like, okay, cool. Took the advice from our brokerage guy. I liked Bob. He was a great guy, but he only wanted me to do neighborhood calling, and I just didn't want to just sit there and just shotgun and hopefully hit something. So I watched YouTube. Then I started going to some Yes Masters with Kevin Ward events, and I didn't hire him as a coach ever. And I didn't do his 90-day challenge. I just went to the events and it pumped me up,
Right.
right? And then I'd just go to various events and get pumped up. And now I'm doing my own coaching because I'm like, I'm in
Love
the
that.
business, I'm doing this. Like, in my opinion, from what I know from a lot of these other people, I'm in a much better financial spot and I've closed more deals than most of those coaches have. And the guru thing's
I can
annoying,
tell
right?
you. I can tell you. Yeah, in case you
Yeah.
were wondering that, right? So yeah,
Yeah, the guru thing's annoying. So, I mean, I'm giving real practical experience, and I started coaching a year ago. I got some good traction, then I ended up taking some time off, and then I just got back into it the last 6 months. And it's more of a passion project for me at this point. I mean, the group coaching's 250 a month, like, and you're gonna get a
amazing.
ton of deals that way. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
awesome. I love
yeah,
that because I think a lot of agents are looking for someone that's a practitioner. They're looking
yes,
for a group to pump them up.
yeah.
And depending on what kind of program you join, that can be hard to find or that can be impossible to find, right? So James, I mean, do everyone listen to this a favor? If people want to continue the conversation, learn more about your group and your programs, what's the best way to reach out to you?
So you can go to michenercoaching@gmail.com. And so Michener, Michener coaching at gmail.com, or call me at 928-308-4700. Send me a text. Again, I'm in the newer stages of like getting a system developed. I know what I'm talking about. I have my coaching outlines, but like, how do you get payment? How do you set that up? Like, I know that I'm going to do a Zoom meeting, 8 o'clock, Arizona time
Be
every
there, be
Monday.
square.
And then I have my one-on-one student set up. But, yeah, I mean, I remember I was going to charge $500 a month and I did that for a little bit, made some pretty good money, but there wasn't as many people being able to join. And my wife's like, "Why are you charging $500 a month? Like this is a passion project for you." I was like, "Yeah, I was thinking about dropping it down to 250." I did that and a ton of people jumped on and I just got a text message from a guy today that's just incredible.
Yeah,
And I get these all the time. And he said, that was one of the best coaching sessions I have ever attended. Good job and thank you." Like
there you go.
that fills my bucket so much more.
Yeah.
And what inspired this is in 2021, I got 8 listings that day, right? And I'm driving home and two of my team members call and they say, "James, I just want to tell you thank you for all your help and everything that you've done. This has changed the trajectory of my family. It's changed my business. I was about to get out. You've helped me so much." And that felt better than getting those 8 listings that day.
Wow.
Like, and I know people are like 8 listings, like three of those clients, they had two, right? Or yeah, they had two, so there were six, and then two other individual ones. So there was 5 listing appointments that day. I was tired, but anyways, that felt better than anything else I've done in a long time. So
I love it. I love it.
yeah,
James, man, I appreciate you. Thank you for making time. I know you're a busy guy. Thanks so much for joining us here in the group. And you're always welcome, man. I hope we have another topic to talk about at some point in the future. This has been a joy because you're a practitioner. You're in the
yeah,
trench, and
yeah,
just our conversation here. I know you do this at a really high level. So I want to thank you for sharing those nuggets and that knowledge with the whole group.
yeah. Well, thank you,
Appreciate
man.
you.
And let me know whatever you want to train on. If there's client appreciation events, for sale by owners, canceled, expired. If you want to do a seminar on like wholesale or buying rental properties, like being a real estate agent and not owning any rental properties is just
Is
blasphemy. Like it's
crazy, right? Yeah,
crazy, right? Yeah. So we make a lot of good money. We're usually the first ones to be able to get to a deal. So you should take what God's given you, which is that gift of being the first to the plate. So yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks,
Cool.
James. See you on the next one.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.